What's up guys, and welcome back to TechPlant. Today we're going to build an actual terrarium, so that way my spider has a real house, and we're going to find some isopods and put them in there as well. Let's check it out.
Alright fam, apparently there were some people who really hated the terrarium I made, or they're just spider haters, but nonetheless they're gone now. So let's move on to more important things, like making this new terrarium. This one is going to be a moss based terrarium, and I actually got the idea from going to Hobby Lobby, and I found kind of like a basketball display case, and I figured I can make a pretty nice terrarium out of this. All I had to do was flip it upside down, and it created a nice cube bowl like shape thing that I could put stuff in, and then I just had to worry about creating a lid. This terrarium is also going to be the upgraded cage for my new spider. If you guys don't like spiders, I guess you can unsubscribe like the last 5 people, and we'll continue on. But anyways, I went to my local woods or forest in order to forage for some moss. Lucky for me, it's been pretty warm this winter, so I haven't had to worry about too much snow, and I got a pretty good selection. If you're also getting moss for your terrarium, really make sure you get a different variety because they can really look cool all together in the same container. Also, while I was looking for some of the moss, I was looking for isopods too, because I wanted some friends for my spider. Once winter's over, I'm actually going to order some really cool isopods because there's a lot of them out there, like almost like designer ones, which is pretty funny. But anyways, I'm sure you can find some under some logs. I also needed kind of a centerpiece for this tank. After reading more about the spider, I learned that they like to be above the ground, so they don't like tunnels like I put in the last one. So now I'm going to give it kind of a big tree trunk to crawl around on. I got lucky finding this one, and I was able to cut off the rotted parts in order to make this the centerpiece of the terrarium. This will be my first kind of proper terrarium, so I'm going to start off with some rocks in the bottom just to kind of give it a false bottom, and this is so excess water can drain and not sit in the sopping wet soil. Once I got my rocks evenly placed, instead of using like a screen or some sort of plastic, I'm just going to use leaves to kind of keep the soil from mixing with the rocks. That way it can't like capillary action up into the soil. Plus, as the leaves break down, they'll kind of create more nutrients and whatnot for the mosses and the other critters living in the soil. As for the soil, I'm using some organic stuff, and I'm also mixing in some soil I collected from the forest, just so it's kind of bioactivated and it has kind of that top soil and all the little critters that live inside of it. I think every terrarium kind of needs a centerpiece or the focal point, and for me that's going to be this big mossy log. I think it looks absolutely awesome, and it'll give a good spot for my spider to crawl on. Here's your hot tip of the day. You can use a dust blower for cameras and lenses to kind of remove dirt and stuff off of certain areas of your terrarium without disturbing it too much. This was great for cleaning off the log. After that, I just kind of started placing the moss all over the place and trying to decorate it and make it look aesthetically pleasing, while also giving spots for the isopods and spiders to crawl around. I used the portion that I cut off of the main log to put in the back corner to create some more structure. Because I'm using stuff I kind of scrounged from around my local area, I'm sure the spider will be a lot happier because it'll be much more natural and something that it would actually be walking through in nature. I believe it was a piece of Java moss. I don't really know how to identify moss very well, but I placed it on the log just to give it a little extra oomph, and I think it looks awesome. So far this is already looking way more natural and better than the last one that I made. That one was pretty sad, but again, that was temporary. Now that I have the hardscape pretty much finished, I'm going to add the isopods and see what they think. I read up about these spiders quite a bit, and they usually stay away from isopods and don't try and kill them, so we shouldn't have any casualties. I'm going to make sure to keep some crickets in here at all times, so that way the spider can feed and not worry about the isopods. Lastly, I'm going to throw my pet jumping spider in and see how he likes it. Overall, I'm super satisfied with how this turned out. It's actually way better than I thought I could pull off, and it looks awesome. I'm able to get some really cool nature feeling scenes of these isopods and spiders just because it looks a lot more natural than the one I had. I like filming in this thing just because it feels like a real forest, and I want to make more of these and film more different creatures in there just because it looks so cool. I really like the footage. I should have figured, but the spider still likes the top of the cage, and he doesn't really care much about the log. He loves just running around on the screen on the cover that I built. Every once in a while though, I do see him kind of scurrying around and looking around his new cage. I think he likes it, and we'll see it as it goes in the future if I see him walking around a lot more. The isopods for sure love this thing, and they're like openly grazing and walking around. I'm going to make sure to mist this thing at least once a day really good just to keep the moss nice and healthy. The terrarium looks really awesome on my shelf next to all my plants, and I definitely want to add more to my collection. I do need to find a cheaper way to get terrariums. I might try making some custom ones by cutting glass and kind of welding them together.
Well guys, that pretty much sums up this video. I hope you liked it. I'm going to try and get more into actual terrariums where they actually look nice like this one. And I want to get more into isopods. There's some pretty cool collectors out there that I want to kind of buy from and see if I can expand my collection. But anyways guys, as always, may your plants go strong and healthy. I'll see you next time.